Happy Memorial Day to everyone around the world and to everyone in the USA. The time is 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yes, it is. And the date, once again, is 5/26/2014. We have before us a monthly chart to start with on Amazon.com. We are also updating our longer-term traders that are short Amazon. Is that when we take a look at the monthly here now, and we can clearly see right here, we're taking this 3-month consolidation where the breakout actually happened. We can clearly see from this 90 days, we have pulled back here to test on the intraday low now. We came in here and we tested this area. Now remember, we called and got the shorts up here. 1 month. Here's the second month of the year. Here is the third month of the year. This is the fourth month of the year. And guess what? We're about to finish the fifth month, and starting June 1, we have a 4-day market that's going to open up tomorrow. And one of the things is that we are measuring, the red line is what? A 20-month moving average, which is very specific on that monthly level. Okay? So here, I'm just going to pull up what we need to be looking at on this monthly. And here we are. We're right down here. Let's make sure everything is in here now. I'm going to pull up the 100-month moving average and the 50-month moving average and the 40-month and the 10-month moving average at 342, and that 20 months is 302. Amazon got support, and Amazon had a 284 point low, and then we have bounced up from that 284 handle to the 312 handle. Is quite a significant pop from the oversold conditions. One of the things that I'm going to feature now is the weekly chart on Amazon, and we can clearly see that the weekly is broke, and yes, it bounced. Why? Oversold. Short term. Nothing goes straight down forever. So when we're trading it, we're trading those intraday lows and highs, and this is that major support level. When it got up here, I'm going to just blow this up. Now, mind you, this is the 2013, where Amazon was in its great bull run above the 10, the blue, and the 20 being the 20-week moving averages, and we peaked up here, and we were getting net short for a long term. Now that we made the bottom over here, and I'll just show you that bottom right here was exactly 284. Now, during that week, we traded up to resistance levels, and I'm going to just simply draw that trend line for the new MMTs and whatnot, and this trend line goes right there on this weekly chart. Now when we go over here to look at that, we can see that 10-week is resistance, but this is that 4-week pattern right over here, where Amazon in its bull mode was getting ready for an all-time breakout, and it continued to go to these 2013 all-time highs. It could not break it for 4 calendar weeks at resistance. 408 was the highs, and we went straight down, and every move up was another sell, and every dead cat bounce was a sell. You got a 10-week crossing over that white line. That's a 50-week moving average now. And that blue line is a 10-week moving average, and it crossed over. What I would like to say to everybody is I'm going to show the daily chart, which is right here, and once again, I'm just going to say where these calendars got into play, and they did. And they have their consolidations and their breakouts in 2013. And we tested that down here at 284 when Amazon was doing quite well on its gaps. That calendar 2013. Here's the 14 high. We are big short sellers once again. Trading Amazon off of the volume. Why? It's oversold. That's why. And there's that support level. And this is just a daily level versus the weekly and the monthly. So we will be buying options. Here is that next area of resistance, which is going to be right up here below 320. And that moving average there is a 50-week. I would also like to let you know that these daily and weekly moving averages are fairly close with the weekly. So the daily one is going to be, of course, right here. That's going to be 323. This one up here will be higher. But we're going to be watching that peak right here. That's the daily movement. The longer term one is Amazon has not traded like this for a number of calendar years because it hasn't. And what it does show us is that big money is leaving. And back to the weekly chart, this is the death cross. That 10-week will be a major moving average resistance at 317.25. I will tell you that from a weekly, short-term, oversold bout. And those puts up there that we have, they go out 9 months from when we bought them. And that's on the put option side. Now we can trade the call side, and we are off of these lows. And I'm just letting everyone know, the other MMTs, that with these short-term calls off of the bottom, once again, that 10-week moving average is going to be the wall of what? Resistance, where we broke higher. And that oversold condition is how these markets have set up, getting ready to go into June. And the ones that are oversold, we're going to hit the highs, but then they're going to roll over. And why? Because mathematically, this thing is toasted. And I will also be happy to say that just going back in time, just going all the way back over here in time, we'd have to go back over here in 2012 when Amazon had that weekly sell signal here. It wasn't as deep as it is right now, but look at the amount of weeks in 2012. I'm just showing where those numbers are. Okay? I'm showing that that was in those days that we were coming out of a weekly buy signal way, way over here in 2011 and whatnot. So just by looking at the history of what Amazon has done in weekly sell signals, we can tell you back in 2009, it got one here. That was the low of the market, but it did it. So let's just go back over here, because we know for a fact that any move up here that we're going to be able to buy the put options in Amazon.com. Now, we have on this daily chart, MMT is a put contract. It's the $315 daily put option that will expire in the calendar month of June 14, monthly options expiration. Here is what they did to the puts now. We'll just start with this high over here, which was, let's just call it $26.50. And the last print on these put options, MMTs, the last print was $9.60, and they closed at $9.60. Now, remember, Amazon's closing price was $3.12, and we've already featured that. Now I'm going to feature the 320 beta put option. And this beta right here, this one is closing at its all-time lows. These were $35 up there when Amazon was within its trend range, both the bear and bull cycle. I am telling you, this one pays. And we have a low print, just like we did on the other one. This one printed on the low. It closed at $12.55. and it was up here above the $20 level 3 calendar days ago, and it was. This here has the least amount of risk for the put side of the 315 and the put side of, and I'll show it again, the 315. Okay, and there it is right here. That is deflated. This makes a lot of money. At the daily charts that we have, this is where this uptrend on this Amazon.com weekly, it's really oversold on a weekly level. It's just going to come up, and as it does hit that wall of resistances, that 10 week is really going to hold it down. So I'm going to refer to every time that you pop up in a reversal to the downside, you pop up, but look what happens. It sells off right away. And with the amount of weekly red reversals from $408, do the math. 408 down to this low was down here at that 284. And from 284 back to 312. And yes, it was a wonderful ride to the downside. This shook out those bulls, didn't it? All those irrational, super duper, going back into calendar 2013, that super duper trade up here, and I'm sorry, it is gone. It is gone on Amazon.com. You got a major moving average with support at 293, referred to a 100-week moving average for 3 weeks. It did not want to break below it, but we go up and hit resistances, and we start buying the deflated 320s and 315s. Oh, not to mention another one, and remember, these are June for short-term trades. For the longer-term handle, we can say that July would be another monthly put option, not the weeklies, but we could say right here, we could say this July, I'm going to put it where I need to put it, and I did. And this is the July put contracts, and they've set up, man. I mean, they were wonderful. I mean, they were so wonderful that you couldn't believe it. But you can't hear it right now. And once again, it's a $310 put, July monthly expiration. It's totally deflated. Every time you get deflated, you pop higher. It gets inflated, comes down, but look at here. You pop higher. Based on the trend of Amazon is how these put options work at major resistance levels. And we're setting up here in the July contract. And also the July 315. Boom. Remember the June ones I showed you? June is for intraday. And no matter what, when we get these at the lows on this July contract is where we would hold them for a longer term, and then we would trade the calls against it for the shorter time frame. And I'm going to conclude that with the July contracts. We will be buying them in various strike prices. These are deflated based on the low here. And the low, I'm just going to show you an input tool. That low was 284. It got a bottom. It popped up on that high of 305 on the week of 5/11, and believe it or not, that high went up to 305, but the 290 was where the low was during that calendar week. And when you get here in the calendar week, you got a low of 293 with the close. Now they open at 295. You go up to 312.35, but guess what? That low was 293.81. And that 100-week moving average, believe it or not, that value for the public, that's what they look at, that is 293.84. And that is the weekly consolidation And this upper end, we get a dead cat bounce. And here is what that dead cat bounce is worth. Once again, I'm going to conclude this chart with the major resistance on Friday. This is simply a daily chart, and we can clearly see where this gap down reversal happened, and that calendar date was 4/25 of 2014. Let it be known that from 316 on that high down to that 302 handle with the 303 close, now we're hitting that wall of resistance coming up here. This wick and all of this part of the chart right here is the key factor, and that's back on 415 when we were trading. It opened at 316 and the low was 305. The high was 318. But here's the deal: that 315 daily will be the actual resistance levels in the short time frame. Then we would have a low that would be 314. So 321 makes a high on 416. 324 with the pullback once again to 314.71, and that means that this whole area of the April area right over here is the major resistance levels and whatnot. So we can clearly say that this date right here was on 4/11. And in the chart, you can see a little piece of it, but that was a major breakout. That's also the future looking top line resistance levels, but it's got to get above this. This is going to be the major resistance level. And once again, you had a 1 day, 3 day, 4, 5 day. On the 5th day, you broke clean through this, and we went down and we put in these all-time lows in Amazon. Just remember, it has a weekly sell signal that is, it's really far down there. So intraday, using the options and whatnot, just remember, they are to trade daily only and ring the cash register until we know if it's going to come up here and hit this major area right below 314. And once again, you can do the following. The good news is, if you go to trading and you type in Amazon in the search tool, you're going to get all of the live analysis down here. And once again, just type in Amazon and you're going to be able to find its previous history. And the previous history on Amazon is very, very important. And once again, you simply type in Amazon here and hit go. If you want to get a trading account, if you're a prop trader, you will give me a call. You will get into the free trial. For just the natural trader, non-prop trader, just call me, get in the free trial. We'll be willing to fund your trading accounts. Now, that's the conclusion that we're bumping right up here on this wick, where this thing is going to each move in it from 284 with a breakout to resistance levels, is we're going to look at moving in on those put options. Like I said, it'll be 310s, 315s, and looking at the 320s. And once I make that transaction based on that resistance level, we're going to have a big trade there, and it's going to have the least amount of risk in calendar May 26, 2014. Happy Memorial Day to you.